Okay, in the last few years, there's been a great interest in people wanting to grow plants, not just for aesthetics, but for consumption. And here we're not dealing with a large-scale farm operation, but we're dealing with a homeowner who's growing, actually, what we call a micro farm operation. And we're going to see if this is adaptable for homeowner use. And it's very interesting what we're growing. So we're growing a large amount of plants. We're doing it in a micro setting. And I'd like to introduce Charlie Crawford, who is the, I will say, owner, operator, producer, farmer, entrepreneur.
It is considered a farm. It is a micro farm. You're correct in that. And you can take any leafy green plant or herb that you want and use it as a microgreen. And the beauty of it is it's ready within anywhere from 7 days to 15 days. It's packed full of nutrients, 4 to 6 times more than your average basil plant would have, or arugula or kale that you were going to cook.
We are actually below ground, aren't we?
We are. It is subterranean, not entirely, but it is below ground. It is in my basement. It seems to be the perfect room to control the environment because I can control the humidity, the airflow, the air conditioning, or the heat, which I generally don't need much heat at all. It's all about keeping the humidity and the temperature in the right level. But you can also do that in your windowsill at home.
These are just tiny little plants.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they're growing their true leaves probably pretty soon, but if we look at these right here, these
just sprouted.
Just sprouted. So technically we would call these sprouts.
Right, right.
And they may have a little cotyledon, a seed leaf.
Right.
And now you've advanced to a more different stage here.
This is actually the first true leaf, the cotyledon right here. And it will get to a bigger stage where it has a secondary leaf structure, and we do have some of that here. But back to the nutrient, all seed already have packed in them all the nutrient that plant is going to need. Mm-hmm. And so that tiny little seed in this tiny little form means that all that large plant nutrient is in this tiny little package. So I would think that would be a great reason for any health-conscious homeowner that likes salads and fresh product to want to grow it in their windowsill. It's a lot of fun. You get the advantage of going, wow, I put that seed in there and look at it now, it's full, it's ready to go.
And this happens in a matter of weeks, right?
Oh, radish could be ready in 7 days.
Wow.
Daikon radish, 7 days. Arugula, 10 days.
Okay.
And that's a height about this tall.
And it's I would call it a living concentrate. The nutrients are really packed in there and concentrated.
Mm-hmm. In a space this size, you could grow 6 different varieties or even 8 different varieties.
I wouldn't venture to guess how many seeds you put down in that small area.
Oh,
if
I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, if we had our cameraman chewed above this, he could say this is 10 acres of land we're viewing, but actually it's not. It's just so many square inches.
Yes, and I really don't have an answer for that, David, because some things I plant thicker and some really thinner because they do better thinner. They get a bigger leaf structure quicker, but we won't go into that.
Let's move over to this tray over here. Okay, Charlie, what I see here, and basically what I don't see here, is soil. So this looks like a soulless medium. But I am familiar with this product, but I don't think homeowners would be. And it appears kind of heavy right now.
It's wet.
Okay.
It's wet.
How can it absorb so much moisture?
Well, because it's very porous. When they make it, it's rock and chalk. It's ground together. It's heated to 3,000 degrees, and they blow air through it and makes it fluff up like that. And that's how it's able to let the water just flow through it. And yet it retains nutrients as long as you treat it before you start growing it, which means you have to soak it in a bath of water that has a pH level of 5.5. Because this has a very high pH without soaking. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So if someone's going to start Rockwool, and do you find this readily available?
It is. There's a horticultural version made by Grodan. It comes in slabs or squares or blocks, actually. You can cut it down to this size.
Okay, very good. And you're just going to drop your seed right on top of this?
I'm going to sprinkle them on just, at different levels of thickness and mist it. Put it in something with a lid on it and until it germinates, and then once I start to see that first germination, I'll move it over here into the light.
Okay. So the first step is you got to pre-soak this.
Yes.
And make sure the pH is adjusted down to the ideal growing range.
Mm-hmm.
And so this may have a tendency to be more alkaline,
yes,
high on the pH scale. So you can adjust this with some acidic solution?
Yes, I just use a simple pH down.
Okay. Very
And
good.
I just the water down to a level between 5.0 and 5.5. And that'll bring the pH of this product down to where it will be able to take up nutrients and distribute them.
Excellent. Okay. It appears that the roots are really growing right through this rock wool. Could we see an example of
Yes,
root
I have
growth
one
on
right
some of
here.
yours?
This is some Daikon radish.
Wow. Look at that.
And it has a really healthy root system. It's coming right out of the bottom of it. You can see it. This is where some just was on the side, and everything in there is going through that rock wool just like that.
You know, what I
Straight
find
through it.
amazing? These plants are really crowded in here, and so this is what I call really high density planting. But I don't see any plant that looks like it's nutrient deficient.
No, it's very healthy.
It didn't mind having a close neighbor, and I think that's the advantage of using this product called Rockwool, which is spun in the same process like making cotton candy. So I know that Rockwool, even though when it is really saturated water, has a really a lot of pore space for oxygen. So this seems like an ideal growing media for what you are doing.
Yes, it does, especially since there's so much moisture in this room. It does dissipate readily, and I'm afraid if there was soil, the moisture would linger in here more.
Yeah.
Don't you think it would? That because the oxygen doesn't flow through
yeah,
moisture
and
like it through soil like it would
Yeah,
this.
and a lot of soil, even what we call what a homeowner would buy as soilless media. You got to be careful that fungal spores don't move in, and you know fungal spores are floating in there all the time. But I don't seem like I can diagnose any disease or any problems in this.
The reason I chose Rockwool, the biggest reason, I looked at everything. I looked at cocoa mats, hemp mats, sure to grow mats. There's a bio straight mat. It's kind of almost a cardboard-like
A
product.
lot of options.
And yeah, there is a lot of options. And for me, moving this around, taking it to different establishments, this was the best source because I can pick it up like this and it
Seems
stays
secure.
firm. Whereas the other things, they did a good job of growing, but they were too pliable. And I would have had to have left trays there in the restaurant with them, and this is just a cheaper version. I just take this in and put it on that restaurant sheet pan just like that, and it's win-win for everybody. And I spend less money on propagation trays growing on these sheet pans. So it is a farm, and nothing's perfect. Mother Nature is not perfect.
Yeah, these are living organisms.
And even though I'm trying very hard to keep the environment right, it's not always optimal to do that. And so sometimes there'll be some mold or there might be some dampening down, and we just take that product and move it out of the room so it doesn't spread to anything else. And sometimes it's actually related to the seed itself. I've had some kale seed, no, it was cabbage at one time, you may recall, that had some issues with it. Had some.
Well, you know, a lot of mold that people see, if a homeowner chooses to do this, you know, a harmless mold called penicillin mold, which is very common in your home, you may find that grow on your plants, but that's not, like a deadly pathogen.
Right.
What about your lighting? I know you don't want these to go through any type of bloom stage, but I wonder if you didn't have these nice grow lights, could a homeowner put some of these into a window and maybe get sufficient lighting?
Absolutely, absolutely. Or even that, if they wanted to add a little bit of extra light, just go to Home Depot and get a T8 fluorescent fixture, a shop light. You know, they're $35, and you can grow under that. Okay. It doesn't have to be a fancy, you know, T5 growing
These are T5s.
light. These are T5s.
These a little more expensive and more broad spectrum with regards to light that mimics the sun, true sunlight.
And you can also buy fixtures at Home Depot that are T5s. They don't have the nice reflector, but as a homeowner, I don't think you would need that because you're just doing something personal. You can put the light closer and it would have the same effect.
I notice your lights are pretty high up here. Are these plants having really stretch or anything? Are there?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Charlie, what I see looking over all your operation here, I see a variety of colors and textures and different leaf shapes and forms. And it appears that you're growing quite an array of varieties. Is there certain varieties you like to grow, or is it just unlimited what you can grow here?
Well, I'm growing these varieties based on what chef's needs were and what I thought I wanted to try. But I don't think everything can be done as a microgreen, such as tomatoes, peppers, things like that. The closest large plant that you can do as a microgreen would be corn. You can do corn shoots. They're quite flavorful, but you don't grow them in light. They're
very
done only in the dark. And these seeds are, I get asked a lot about the seeds. Are
they special microgreen little tiny seeds?
They are not special microgreen seeds. They are listed in a catalog under microgreens, but they are no different than just a packet of seed that you would buy at the big box store of basil or arugula.
So I could go to about any store or order seeds out of catalog, and I don't have to ask for microgreen seeds.
No.
But I'm sure catalogs are going to...
you would choose the variety that you want to grow.
Yeah.
And I would suggest going online and selecting a seed supplier that's reputable, like Johnny's Seeds or True Leaf Marketing, and you can buy in quantity, which is much more economical than going to a big box and buying several packets of seeds.
Little packets are very expensive.
They're $3 a packet, sometimes $4.
Yeah,
and a pound of arugula seed is about $22. And you can also buy it by the ounce or half ounce, or they have many ways. So that's how I would suggest buying it if the homeowner wanted to grow microgreens for their own nutrients.
And I could not think of a better way to get children interested in growing plants, learning about botany, the natural world,
Right.
and then consuming.
Well, and especially with kids, you show a kid to plant a seed and they watch it grow, they get so excited, and then they want to eat it and share it, And
this was like a forest here. This
right,
is not just a single plant.
And this is something very simple that
This
anyone
is
could
just
buy.
packed in.
This is a red mustard. It's real easy. It doesn't even take any heat to germinate.
It looks so dense, I think I could sleep on that.
It does. It does, and that's the first thing everyone wants to do when they see these. They want to touch it because the texture is so cool. Yeah.
Well, they look delicate, so I think people will treat them as a delicate organism. It's a young plant.
And we're talking about delicate plants now. This can be watered from the top because it is very, very firm. But if I was watering something like this is tangerine lace. It's a marigold. It's very dainty. If I watered this from the top, it would beat it down. So I would just turn the tray to the side and water it from the side. Just along the edge, it would do just fine. Homeowner could do that as easily, and they would know what needs water from the top and what would do from the side.
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I think this is the new wave in producing plants. This week, we're having a tremendous amount of rainfall. Could you imagine you couldn't even get into your garden outside?
No way.
Maybe not for a month?
No.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you so much.
This is a great pleasure.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.